What if I told you that most women are constantly broadcasting their interests, but most men just aren't tuned in? Imagine being able to read her like an open book, knowing exactly when you can make your move. Most men that I coach think that cracking attraction is a complete and total mystery, but the truth is, it's written all over her. And once you learn this secret language, that's when you're going to stop second guessing yourself and start feeling the energy shift when a woman is attracted to you. My goal is to give you the tools necessary for you to master communication, social skills, dating skills, and unshakable confidence so that you can become the high-value version of yourself that you were born to be. If you'd like to fast-track your journey to becoming the high-value version of yourself that you were born to be, then I have a gift for you, the secret language that tells you that a woman is attracted to you. So let's start by talking about the invisible green light that most men miss. Here's the thing. Women will very rarely say that they're attracted to you, but they do show it. And most men tend to miss these signals when they're right in front of them because they're too busy worrying about what they're going to say, or they're feeling too nervous and anxious to really notice what's happening right in front of them. Maybe you've had that moment. You're talking to a woman, and then she walks away, and your friend turns to you and says, "Dude, she's totally into you." And you're left thinking, "Really? I didn't get that at all." This is what happens when you're not attuned to the nonverbal conversation that's happening beneath your words. Women tend to communicate attraction subtly, and that's not because they're playing games, it's biology. Their body language and their nervous systems are feeling attraction before they can even consciously say a word about it. Women are very much emotional and feeling beings. A lot of the time, the way that they feel that attraction can take them by surprise as well. But once you learn how to read those signals, you'll realize that attraction is actually a lot more obvious than you thought. In fact, you'll notice that it can be consistent, predictable, and easy to recognize when you're being present with what's happening. So you're about to learn the secret language that many men have not learned yet. And it's way simpler than you think it's going to be. So here's your body language blueprint. Her body language is the key to unlocking her intentions. Let's start with the basics and then move on to the more nuanced and subtle cues. First off, when a woman is interested, her body is going to be open. You can really see this openness in all parts of her body. Her shoulders are going to be resting back. Her chest is going to be open. She will be facing you directly. And you'll notice that she won't be crossing her arms. Her body is literally orienting towards you because subconsciously she's open and inviting the connection in. The next thing to look for is proximity. If she leans in, reduces the space between you, or she finds reasons to stand or sit closer to you, that's her nervous system saying, "I feel drawn to you. I feel safe to come close to you. I'm curious to discover more about you." The next thing to look for is that she is pining a lot. So that means that she might be adjusting her hair, putting on lip gloss or lip balm. She might be adjusting her clothes or generally trying to fix herself up to look good for you. These little micro movements and adjustments are ways of her trying to attract your attention and show you that she's attractive. And this tends to signal desire and a want to show you that she's desirable as well. Okay, so that's the basics out of the way. Now, let's go a little bit deeper to some more nuanced cues that might be a bit more subtle to pick up on in the beginning, but once you start to bring your attention to this, you're going to notice them all the time. I promise you. So let's go deeper. The first thing to pay attention to here is eye contact escalation. Eye contact escalation will normally start with a few quick glances across the room or in your direction. You might notice her looking away suddenly, like you caught her doing something that she wasn't supposed to. But eventually, these eye contact glances are going to escalate to longer, more sustained eye contact. If she's feeling really attracted to you and comfortable and confident in herself, you might even notice that she's looking at you like she wants to undress you. If you're close enough to notice that her pupils are dilating and getting larger, then that's a pretty strong signal that she's feeling attraction because it means that her body is releasing dopamine, which is one of the body's reward chemicals that have been linked to attraction. The next micro action to pay attention to is mimicry. She might subtly be mimicking your body language, your tone, or your pacing, and again, This isn't something that she's consciously aware of. This is her nervous system and her bodybuilding rapport with yours. This is one of the strongest indicators of mutual chemistry. Next, I want you to pay attention to the smile spectrum. So it's really important to understand the difference between a polite smile when you happen to catch someone's eyes and a genuine warm smile that is directed at you. A real, genuine smile shows up in the eyes. You'll see that glisten or that sparkle in her eyes that really says, I'm genuinely enjoying this. The next thing to notice is the head tilt. This is when she's going to be slightly tilting her head and expose her neck to you. And that's vulnerability. That's her body saying, I'm open and I trust you. The next is to pay attention to her lips, what she's doing with her lips, and also what she's doing with yours. If you find her touching her lips a lot, biting her lips a lot, or moving her fingers around her lips to try and draw your attention there, that is also a subconscious cue that she's trying to make you think about kissing her. You might also notice that she looks down at your lips sometimes, which is a subtle cue that she's thinking about kissing you and what that would be like. And again, these aren't necessarily conscious things that she's doing. They're more like subconscious, subtle ways that her body is signaling to you that she's curious to understand what it would be like to be intimate with you. And finally, I want you to pay attention to the laugh frequency. If you notice that she laughs and giggles a lot more around you, or she's being generally more playful and light, especially if you're not that funny or really saying anything with the intention of being funny, but she's still giggling and laughing a lot anyway, that is a very clear signal that she is attracted to you, and she wants you to know that she finds you enjoyable to be around, and she wants more of your presence. One important thing to caveat as a side note, if a woman is interested, she will stick around. She's going to find ways to be close to you. She's going to find ways to stay in the conversation or stay in the area nearby you so that you can approach her and talk to her and start a conversation. And when you are in conversation, she's going to stick around if she wants to be there. I promise you, a woman will always find a way to get away from a conversation if she's not interested. She'll make up some excuse that she needs to go to the bathroom or get back to her friends or that she has something she needs to get to. She's always going to find excuses to get away if she's not interested. So if you start that conversation and she's also sticking around and staying in your presence, that is a very clear signal that she's interested and curious to explore the connection a little bit more. Okay, let's talk about how context is really, really key here. And I'm talking about the context beyond an individual signal. This is a part that a lot of men tend to get confused about. No single signal is a sign that she's into you. What you want to be looking for is confirmation by seeing a cluster of signals happening. So if you see 3 or more of these signals within a short window, openness, proximity, pining, laughter, eye contact, then you can be pretty certain that she's attracted to you and interested. Then that is your green light. But context matters, and it's important to pay attention to the context that you're getting these signals. So, for example, if you're in a loud club or a bar, she might be leaning in just so she can hear you better and communicate. In a quiet cafe, where it would be easy to hear you from across the room, her leaning in means something very different in that context. So please always factor in the environment. Pay attention to what feels necessary versus intentional. And as a little bonus tip, it's always great to throw a little reciprocity test out in these situations. If you see some of these signals and you give some signals back, leaning in, looking in her direction, smiling in her direction, notice if she reciprocates or withdraws. Say, for example, you've noticed that she's been giving you a lot of eye contact and smiling at you across the room, and you make an effort to make eye contact for a prolonged period of time back and smile at her, and she keeps smiling back at you. That is a sign of reciprocity. That shows that she's noticed and you've noticed that you're both giving each other signals, and she still continues to reciprocate. Now, in that same scenario, if you notice that she's giving you a lot of eye contact and she's smiling in your direction, and then When you start to look back at her with the same intensity, if she then suddenly starts to look away, or she starts to make physical space and move away from you, that might be a signal that she's actually not that interested after all. Successful, attractive dynamics have to be reciprocal, but remember that practice makes perfect. Confidence is formed through action. And this, just like any skill, is something that is going to be strengthened by doing repetition, repeatedly going out into the world and reading those signals rather than just thinking about the theory. That is the difference between knowledge and information and embodied wisdom. So start off with a low stakes observation challenge. Whenever you're out and you're around people, whether that's work, a cafe, the gym, a bar, whatever it might be, just simply observe the interactions without having to do anything about it. Watch people's body language, even between each other. It doesn't necessarily always have to be directed at yourself, and start to consciously notice the patterns of openness, proximity, laughter, mirroring, and so on. Then, when you feel comfortable and you've started to read those signals a little bit better, it's time to move into a gradual engagement strategy. Whenever you're out and about and you notice subtle cues from a woman, perhaps it's eye contact, smiling, perhaps it's proximity, leaning in, whatever it might be, take some time to respond with the same cues. Maybe that means a warm, genuine smile, meeting her with steady eye contact, or making a playful, teasing comment. And just watch how she responds to that. And what happens when you start to gradually introduce these signals is that you'll notice a catalyst of your confidence happening. And that's because you start reading signals accurately and seeing results because of it. Your nervous system starts to trust in your ability to read what's happening. And the idea of interacting with a woman and giving some attraction signals back starts to feel more safe to your body. So in turn, you will relax and start to feel more confident in those situations. This is when your confidence starts to become embodied, not forced. This is what we call the action confidence loop. Confidence rarely comes before action. Most of the time, it's built through action and through seeing evidence of your ability to do the things that you want to do. Each real-world experience that you have reinforces the trust that you have in yourself. The more you observe, engage, practice, and refine your skills, the more natural it becomes over time. And through this repetition and reinforcement, your brain is rewiring itself for confidence and attunement. At that point, your attraction and ability to notice attraction is going to become effortless, because it's happening on a more subconscious level. So the next time that you're talking to a woman, stop trying to figure her out and instead start paying attention and feeling into the moment. Pay attention to her body language, her energy, and you'll start to notice a pattern that was always there but felt invisible to you before. Picking up on attraction isn't magic. It's communication and being able to communicate well and read communication well. And I promise you, when you master that, you're never going to second guess whether a girl is into you again. Now, if you want to know exactly what to do once you do notice these attraction cues to build attraction when you approach a woman, maybe get her phone number, then I recommend that you check out the video that's on screen. Now, for those of you who like this content, do be sure to subscribe, give this video a thumbs up. I'll see you over there. Bye. No single signal. No single signal. That is a tongue twister. No single signal. No signal.